Alex is excited. His Uncle Ned's coming to town, and he's been bugging his dad to get Ned a job. Elise is worried Steven's boss will find out about that time Ned embezzled $4.5 million at his last gig in Philadelphia. Uncle Ned arrives slurring, waving 2 trash bags he brought in from the curb for no apparent reason. He announces this calls for a celebration and grabs 5 beers. Ned's losing at Trivial Pursuit, rounding the corner on that 5th beer, and tells Alex to grab him another beer. Elise says it's late and time for bed. Ned says sure thing, right after one last brewdog. Elise is like, Ned, too much sauce. Uncle Ned mumbles some nonsense into a can. Elise tells her brother it's time he got a job. Ned says nobody will hire him after that whoopsie-daisy when he threw $4.5 million into a money pit. Steven tells Ned he got him an interview with a colleague of his own. Uncle Ned says that calls for a celebration and sends Alex back to the fridger for 2 more beers. Uncle Ned is sleepless in Ohio, having a late-night staring contest in the dark with an empty bottle of liquor. Alex comes in for a snack, and Ned invites his underage nephew to take a seat and turn the fuck up. Alex says he's pulling an all-nighter for an economics final. Uncle Ned says that's all the more reason to have a beer, which makes 0 damn sense. Only they're out of beer because Ned drank all the beer. Uncle Ned suggests they go for a beer run, but when Alex says stores are closed because it's after 2 a.m., Ned hears that as a challenge. Ned saunters over to the pantry and rounds up every container that has any alcohol, including artichokes and maraschino cherries. Uncle Ned says he hit the jackpot, and while it might not be Miller time, it's vanilla time. Then he slams a bottle of vanilla extract like a guy who's certainly done this before. Rock bottom has never tasted so sweet. Uncle Ned's trashed, and he wants to help Alex study. Alex says he'll take a rain check from old Vanilla Breath. Ned's pissed Alex doesn't want his help and asks why he's too good to join his uncle for a tall glass of cherries. Alex says he's never seen his uncle drunk, and Ned snaps. He gets extremely loud and incredibly gross, saying, "You think I'm drunk? Well, howdy, partner. I'm drunk, and why the fuck shouldn't I be?" Which makes sense, since it's 2 a.m. in the burbs. Uncle Ned is riding the bipolar express, laughing and hugging and screaming. Shit's a mess. Alex tells Ned to sleep it off, but Uncle Ned says nuts to that, and tries to call a taxi by screaming, "Taxi," in this kitchen. Realizing that's not how you call a taxi, Ned leaves with his hobo margarita. Alex is upset because he was gonna have vanilla pancakes with cherries for breakfast, and that plan just walked out the goddamn door. The next morning, Uncle Ned asks Alex if he slept alright. Alex is all, nope, and you know why he didn't sleep well. But Ned doesn't know, because he blacked out harder than an epileptic at a strobe light convention. Alex says Uncle Ned has a big problem. His mom's not hearing it. Mallory and Jennifer got Uncle Ned some ugly socks for his interview. Very ugly. Steve says the interview's at 11. Ned says he'll be there with socks on. Alex reiterates Uncle Ned has a drinking problem, and his mom says he just likes to party, and he's partying a little harder than usual these days. Then Alex finally drops the bombshell about that thing he did with the vanilla, which, come on, should have been his opener. Uncle Ned feigns surprise over a tourney bottle of hooch in his jacket. He pours a splash in his OJ, and his sister is like, "Bro, your interview is in 2 hours. Get your life together." Ned says he can stop anytime. Elise says, "Prove it." So he casts his morning cocktail away down the drain. Uncle Ned's interview is going fine, until Mr. Wirtz asks him about that time he embezzled 4.5 million smackers. Uncle Ned says he could tell that story best through song. Mr. Wirtz gets a phone call, and Steven tells Ned to relax and just be himself, which is a huge mistake because Ned's self is an alcoholic disaster. Ned proceeds to blow this interview. He really fucks this thing up sideways. And when Mr. Wirtz tells Ned he forgot his socks, Ned clarifies he actually has them ugly shits in his pocket. Mr. Wirtz says this interview's over. Ned grabs his clarinet. Deuces. Steven says Ned showed up hammered for his interview, and he needs real help right now because he's on a terminal road to addiction. Saving Private Jameson stumbles in with champagne because that interview he aced calls for a celebration. Elise scolds her drunk brother, but Ned says he never had a shot of getting that job. Steven says he did until he sullied his chances by being a fucking embarrassment. Elise says, "Psst. Dum-dum, you've got male hereditary alcoholism, and the circle won't end until you call AA. They've got volunteers who can help." Alex shows Ned newspaper clippings he keeps in his wallet of his uncle's past accomplishments, which is so weird that he keeps those next to his ass all the time. Who does that? Uncle Ned says these are garbage, accurate, and throws them in the fire. Alex tries to stop him from discarding the leaflets of his success, and Ned slaps him back to the furniture. Steven says that's it. Get help or get out. Uncle Ned is crying like a bitch and finally agrees to call AA. He picks up the phone, makes one last punchline, then gets serious. He's an alcoholic, and he needs help, and he's ready to get his life back on track. Only he doesn't, because we never see Uncle Ned ever again, because he probably family tied a rope around his neck and fucking killed himself. So what did we learn today? If you're visiting family you haven't seen in a while, showing up sober and empty-handed is better than wasted with garbage. And apparently you can get drunk from vanilla extract, but it's such a bummer you might as well not. And everyone deserves a second chance, even if you embezzled $4.5 million. But don't waste that opportunity by being a boozy mess when the guy who bangs your sister puts his neck on the line. And if your nephew loves you and looks up to you, don't scare him in a kitchen or slap the taste out of his mouth like he owes you money. Even if it is kinda weird, he keeps newspaper clippings about you in his wallet. And if you say you're gonna be somewhere with socks on, be there with socks on, even if them shits are ugly. See you next time on a very special episode.